Let's be brutally honest for a second. Women don't become obsessed with men simply because of looks, money, or status. If that were true, every rich or handsome man would have women chasing them 24/7. And we all know that's not reality. What actually makes women hooked, what makes them lose sleep thinking about a man, isn't what society constantly feeds you. It's not flowers, it's not endless texting, and it's definitely not worshiping the ground she walks on. In fact, those things often do the opposite. They kill attraction. Here's the controversial truth. Women become obsessed with men who know how to control themselves, not the ones desperately trying to control her. They can't stop thinking about the man who makes them feel both challenged and desired at the same time. And this is where most men fail. Too many guys either play it too safe, giving her everything she wants instantly, or they go the other extreme, acting cold and unavailable. Neither of those approaches works long-term. What women actually crave, and may never openly admit, is a man who knows how to trigger deep emotional responses. A man who stands out because he refuses to act like every other guy lining up for her attention. When you understand this, you stop chasing women, and they start chasing you. This video isn't about cheesy pickup tricks or manipulation. It's about understanding the psychology that drives female obsession and learning how to use it to your advantage. By the end, you'll see exactly why some men become unforgettable in a woman's mind, while others are discarded and forgotten like yesterday's news. So, buckle up, because what you're about to hear might make you uncomfortable, but it will also wake you up. 1. Silence creates obsession. One of the most overlooked tools a man can use in dealing with women is silence. Most guys think the more they talk, the more attention they give, the better their chances of keeping her interested. Wrong. In reality, silence can be louder than words. Women are naturally curious and analytical. They fill in the blanks when something is missing. When you don't always respond. When you don't explain every move. When you let silence hang instead of rushing to fill it, she starts wondering. And wondering leads to obsession. Here's the controversy. Most men believe women want constant communication. They think replying instantly, over-explaining, or always checking in will make her feel secure. But security doesn't fuel obsession. Mystery does. Every time you jump to answer her calls or texts within seconds, you signal that your world revolves around her. That lowers your value. On the other hand, when you pause, when you're selective about what you say, when you let her mind race while you stay calm, that's when she invests more energy in you. Silence is powerful because it leaves space for her imagination. And trust me, a woman's imagination is far stronger than anything you could say. She'll replay your last conversation in her head, wondering what you meant, why you didn't reply yet, or what you're busy doing. That mental loop is how obsession begins. Now, this doesn't mean you play childish games or purposely ignore her to be toxic. It's about being intentional. Talk less. But when you do talk, let your words carry weight. Don't overshare every detail of your life. Keep some mystery. Sometimes the most attractive response is no response at all. One example, imagine you're on a date and she asks about your past relationships. Most men would spill every detail to prove they're trustworthy. Instead, you smile, take a sip of your drink, and simply say, "Some stories are better left for another time." Then you move on. That small moment of silence plants curiosity. She'll think about it later, replaying it in her head and wanting to know more. Women don't obsess over men who give them everything up front. They obsess over the man who leaves something unsaid. 2. The power of walking away. Most men don't realize that the greatest leverage they'll ever have with a woman is the ability to walk away. Not in anger, not as a game, but with calm confidence. Here's the cold truth. A man who cannot walk away from a woman has already lost her respect. Why? Because she senses when you're too dependent on her attention. And dependence kills attraction faster than anything else. Now here's where it gets controversial. Women are not obsessed with the men who beg, chase, and compromise endlessly. They become obsessed with the man who shows he values himself more than he values her approval. Think about it. If she knows you'll never leave no matter how she treats you, where's the challenge? Where's the tension? Women crave tension. Walking away provides it. When you walk away, you send a loud message without saying a word. I don't need you to feel complete. That confidence is intoxicating. It forces her to reevaluate her own value in your life. Suddenly, you're not just another guy trying to please her. You're the man she could lose. And that thought creates obsession. Of course, most men fail here because they confuse walking away with throwing tantrums or playing childish block and unblock games. That's not strength. That's immaturity. True walking away is calm, controlled, and final. It's when you say, "I won't tolerate this," and you step back without needing to explain yourself. The irony, that's usually the exact moment she starts chasing you. One example. Imagine she cancels plans with you last minute for the third time. Most guys would argue, complain, or try harder next time. Instead, you simply say, "No worries, take care." And then you disappear. No texts, no calls, no energy invested. A few days later, she's the one texting, "Hey, are you mad at me?" Or, "Why haven't I heard from you?" That's obsession, not because you punished her, but because you refused to beg for her time. Men who master the power of walking away don't end up with less. They end up with more. More respect, more attraction, and ironically, more control. The man who can walk away at any moment is the man who never truly loses. 3. Unpredictability wins. If there's one thing that kills attraction faster than anything else, it's predictability. Men who act the same way every day, who follow the same routine with women, who give the same answers and the same energy, quickly become boring. And once she's bored, she's gone. Women may say they want stability and consistency. And yes, that matters for long-term relationships. But when it comes to what makes her obsessed, it's unpredictability that keeps her hooked. Think about it. If she knows exactly what you're going to text, exactly how you'll react, exactly where every date will go, there's nothing for her to get excited about. She doesn't look forward to seeing you because she already knows what's coming. The thrill is gone before it even begins. That's why men who are too routine, too available, too easy to read, rarely keep a woman's attention for long. Now, unpredictability doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean being unreliable, flaky, or disrespectful. What it means is keeping a sense of mystery, keeping her guessing in small but powerful ways. Maybe it's switching up the way you respond, surprising her with your confidence, or changing the pace of how you interact. Women are wired to chase novelty. It excites their emotions and makes them think about you when you're not even around. Here's the raw truth. Predictability makes you safe, but safe isn't sexy. Unpredictable men stand out because they trigger curiosity. She never fully figures you out, and that's exactly what keeps her coming back. Every time she thinks she's got you mapped out, you do something different. Not to manipulate her, but because you're not living life on autopilot. That energy is magnetic, relatable, right? Think about the women who stuck in your mind the longest. Were they the ones who were predictable, always texting the same good morning every day? Or were they the ones who kept you on your toes, made you wonder what they'd do next, and left you thinking about them long after they left the room? The same psychology applies to women. The bottom line is this: if you want a woman to obsess over you, stop being a human calendar. Don't let her predict your every move. Keep her curious. Keep her wondering. Keep her slightly off balance in a good way. Because once she can't predict you, she can't stop thinking about you. 4. Emotional control is sexier than abs. Let's be real. Too many men think women obsess over six-packs, flashy cars, or expensive clothes. And while those things may get you noticed, they don't keep her attention. What truly separates the unforgettable man from the forgettable one is emotional control. Women become obsessed with the man who stays calm under pressure, who doesn't get rattled, who doesn't fall apart when things don't go his way. That's the man she can't stop thinking about. Here's the problem. Most men are emotional slaves and don't even realize it. They explode when they're angry. They beg when they're desperate. They sulk when they don't get their way. And then they wonder why women lose respect. Wake up. Your ability to control your emotions is more attractive than your physical appearance. Why? Because it shows strength. It shows discipline. It shows that you're not easily swayed by whatever mood she's in. Nothing turns a woman off faster than a man who reacts like a child. If she pulls away and you panic, texting her nonstop, she sees weakness. If she tests you and you explode, she sees immaturity. If you're always explaining, apologizing, or trying to fix her mood, she sees you as beneath her. Harsh truth. That's why so many men get ghosted, cheated on, or friend-zoned. Not because they weren't good enough, but because they couldn't stay composed. Now, compare that to the man who stays centered. She gets emotional, he stays calm. She pulls back, he doesn't chase. She tests him, and he doesn't break. That kind of control makes her obsessed because it's rare. Most men crumble under female pressure, but the few who don't become unforgettable. Men need to stop thinking that muscles alone will do the job. You can be ripped, but if you're needy and reactive, she'll chew you up and spit you out. Emotional control is about showing her that you're grounded, that you lead your own life, that you don't rise and fall with her moods. And that, my brothers, is more powerful than abs will ever be. So, wake up. Stop being controlled by your emotions. Stop letting her behavior dictate your reactions. Start mastering yourself. When you do, you won't have to chase women. They'll start obsessing over you because you'll be the man who stands strong when every other guy crumbles. 5. Scarcity increases value. Here's a hard pill most men refuse to swallow. The more available you are to a woman, the less she values you. That's not opinion, it's human psychology. Scarcity creates value. If you want her to obsess over you, you cannot be the man who's always at her disposal, ready to drop everything at the sound of her text notification. The moment she knows she can have your time, energy, and attention whenever she wants, you've already lost the game. Look at how people treat luxury items. A diamond isn't valuable because it's shiny. It's valuable because it's rare. If diamonds were lying around on every street corner, nobody would care about them. The same principle applies to men. If you make yourself too common, too easy to access, too predictable, you're not valuable. But when you're scarce, when your attention is not guaranteed, that's when she starts chasing you. This is where most men fail. They think being available shows loyalty, dedication, and effort, but in reality, it communicates neediness. It says, I don't have a life of my own, so I'll rearrange everything for you. And guess what? Women don't obsess over men who make them the center of their world. They obsess over men who already have a world of their own. Scarcity doesn't mean ignoring her or being cold. It means having boundaries. It means she doesn't get 247 access to your time. It means you don't reply instantly to every message because you're actually busy living your life. It means she sometimes has to wonder when she'll see you next. And that wondering creates desire. Think about it. When was the last time you truly wanted something you could get easily without effort? The things you crave the most are the ones that require patience, consistency, and effort to obtain. Women are no different. If you hand yourself over without resistance, you kill the very tension that makes her want more. So here's the truth, men. Stop giving away your time like it's worthless. Stop acting like you're a clearance item on a shelf. Be scarce. Be selective. Be the man who is hard to access, not because you're playing games, but because your life is full, your mission comes first, and your time is precious. When she realizes she can't always have you, that's when she starts obsessing over you. 6. Making her work for your attention. Most men get this completely backward. They think the best way to win a woman over is by pouring all their attention on her, texting all day, liking every post, complimenting her nonstop. But here's the ugly truth. What comes too easily is never valued. If you want a woman to obsess over you, she has to earn your attention. Why? Because human psychology is wired for effort. We value what we work for more than what's handed to us. Think about the last time you worked hard to buy something expensive. You cherished it, protected it, appreciated it. But when you get something for free, you don't respect it the same way. Women are no different. When your attention is free and unlimited, she takes it for granted. When she has to work for it, she treasures it. Here's where men need to wake up. Showering a woman with constant validation isn't attraction, it's desperation. And desperation never creates obsession. If she doesn't have to put in any effort to keep you interested, she won't respect you, much less chase you. Now, making her work for your attention doesn't mean being rude or playing childish games. It means holding your standards high. It means not giving your time to a woman who's giving you the bare minimum. It means not rewarding bad behavior with attention. When she feels that she has to bring something to the table, respect, loyalty, effort, then she starts valuing your presence. Relatable, right? How many times have you seen guys bend over backward for a woman who barely acknowledges them? They think the more they give, the more she'll care. But in reality, the opposite happens. She loses interest because she never had to work for him. On the other hand, the men she chases are the ones who don't hand over attention so easily. Here's the truth. If you want to be unforgettable, you can't be free. Your attention has to be earned. She should feel like winning. Your focus is a reward, not an entitlement. The moment she starts putting in effort to impress you, to keep you engaged, to meet your standards, that's when she gets hooked. So stop being the man who begs for her time. Be the man who makes her prove she deserves yours. That's the difference between being ignored and being obsessed over. 7. Disagreeing without fear. One of the biggest mistakes men make with women is thinking they always have to agree with everything she says. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny, nod their heads at opinions they don't share, and pretend to like things they actually hate just to avoid conflict. And then they wonder why she doesn't respect them. Here's the harsh reality. Women don't obsess over yes men. They obsess over men who stand their ground. Disagreeing without fear shows strength. It shows that you have your own mind, your own values, and you're not afraid to stand on them, even if it risks upsetting her. That's rare. Most guys are terrified of rocking the boat. They think if they disagree, she'll get mad and leave. But here's the truth. Constant agreement doesn't make her like you more. It makes you invisible. She can't respect a man who bends like a twig at every breeze. Women test men constantly. Sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. They want to see if you'll hold your position or fold under pressure. If you crumble, she loses trust in you. But if you stay calm, firm, and respectful when you disagree, you become the man she sees as unshakable. And that's the kind of man women can't get out of their heads. Think about it. When was the last time you remembered someone who always agreed with you? Probably never. But you remember the people who challenged you, who made you think, who weren't afraid to push back. The same thing happens with women. Disagreeing makes you stand out. It sparks emotions. It makes conversations real, not robotic. Now don't twist this into being argumentative or combative for no reason. That's not attractive either. The key is to disagree with confidence and composure. If she says something you don't believe in, you calmly state your perspective without apologizing for it. No nerves, no over-explaining, just firm conviction. That confidence lingers in her mind long after the conversation ends. Here's the bottom line. Women are surrounded by men who worship them, flatter them, and bend over backwards to avoid saying no. But the man who disagrees respectfully, confidently, without fear, that's the man who stands out. That's the man who earns respect, and respect is the foundation of obsession. So stop being afraid of conflict. Stop hiding your true thoughts. If you want women to truly chase you, be the man who's not afraid to say, "I don't see it that way." 8. Not overinvesting too soon. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men need to hear. Giving too much too early doesn't make a woman obsessed with you. It makes her lose interest. A lot of guys think that pouring out all their time, energy, and emotions right away will win her heart. But in reality, overinvesting too soon kills attraction. Why? Because what's earned slowly is valued deeply, and what's given too quickly is discarded easily. Think about it. If a woman barely knows you and you're already texting her all day, offering rides, buying gifts, and rearranging your schedule for her, what message does that send? It tells her you have no standards, no boundaries, and no self-respect. It tells her she didn't need to do anything to earn your attention, so why should she treasure it? The sad reality is that men who overinvest too soon set themselves up to be taken for granted. Women are naturally drawn to men who pace themselves. A man who doesn't give everything up front shows that he values himself. He lets her earn his deeper attention over time. That slow build creates tension, curiosity, and excitement. But when you hand her the full package on day one, there's no chase, no mystery, and no emotional investment on her part. This is why so many men get ghosted after doing everything right. They gave her their all too quickly, leaving her with nothing to chase, nothing to wonder about. Meanwhile, the guy who gave just enough to spark her interest but held back enough to keep her curious is the one she can't stop thinking about. Relatable, right? Think about the times you valued something the most. Was it when it came easily with no effort? Or was it when you had to work for it? When it took time and patience to finally get it? Women are wired the same way. The effort they put in is what creates attachment. So men, here's the wake-up call. Stop giving everything up front. Stop confessing your feelings too early. Stop rearranging your life for a woman you barely know. Instead, take your time. Let her earn more of your energy as she proves she's worth it. That doesn't make you cold, it makes you smart. The man who holds back at first doesn't push women away. He pulls them in because he creates space for desire to grow. And that's exactly what makes her obsessed. 9. Purpose over romance. Most men have been brainwashed to believe that the secret to winning a woman's heart is endless romance. Flowers, good morning texts, candlelit dinners. Those things might feel nice in the short term, but they don't make a woman obsessed. What truly makes a woman obsessed is a man's sense of purpose, his mission, his drive, his unwillingness to put her above the calling he has in life. Here's the raw truth. When you put romance before purpose, you automatically lower your value. Women might enjoy the attention at first, but they won't respect a man who sacrifices his goals just to please them. Deep down, women want a man who is chasing something bigger than them, a man who is building, creating, achieving. Why? Because it signals strength. It shows ambition. It shows that he's not just living for her, he's living for something greater. Now here's the controversial part. If a woman realizes she is the center of your life, she will lose interest. She may like the attention, but she won't obsess over you. On the other hand, when she sees that she is part of your life, but not the center of it, she starts chasing harder. She craves your attention more because she knows it has to be earned away from your mission. Men who abandon their goals to spend every moment catering to a woman's emotions always end up forgotten. Men who stay locked in on their purpose, who make it clear that no one will pull them off their path. That's who women can't stop thinking about because deep down, she wants to know if she's valuable enough to fit into a life that's already moving forward. And this is where a lot of men need to wake up. Stop trading your dreams for temporary approval. Stop pausing your mission every time she calls. Stop thinking romance alone will carry you. Romance without purpose makes you replaceable. But when your purpose drives you, you become irreplaceable. So remember this. Women don't obsess over men who put them on a pedestal. They obsess over men who stand on their own pedestal built on discipline, vision, and ambition. Your mission is your foundation. Without it, you're just another guy with flowers. With it, you become the man she can't forget. 10. Triggering her competitive side. Here's something most men never realize. Women become obsessed when they feel they have to compete for a man's attention. Not in a toxic way, not in a manipulative way, but in a natural, psychological way. When a woman feels that other women see value in you, she automatically sees you as more desirable. It's called pre-selection, and it's one of the most powerful forces in female psychology. Think about it. If no one else wants you, why should she? But if other women notice you, respect you, or even flirt with you, suddenly she sees you differently. That little spark of competition lights up in her brain. She doesn't want to lose her spot. She doesn't want to feel like another woman could take what she has. That's when obsession begins. Now, here's where men mess this up. Too many guys try to prove they're desirable by bragging about women they know or by faking interest from others. That's not attractive. It's insecure. The key is to let your value show naturally. When you're social, confident, respected by people around you and women, see that other women enjoy your presence. It speaks louder than any words. This is why the guy who lives an active life, who has female friends, who is naturally comfortable around women always triggers more desire than the man who isolates himself. She knows you have options. And when she knows you have options, she invests more in keeping your attention. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Women don't compete for men they don't care about. But when they see you're not desperate, when they know other women admire you, they step up. They text faster. They dress better. They put in more effort. Not because you forced them to, but because deep down they don't want to lose. Relatable, right? Think about times you've been more interested in something simply because others wanted it too. It's human nature. Scarcity and competition drive value. Women are no different. So men, wake up. Stop trying to convince women you're valuable with words. Show it by living a life that naturally attracts respect and admiration. When she feels even a hint of competition, when she senses that you are not easy to lock down, that's when the obsession truly kicks in. The bottom line is simple. Women don't obsess over men who nobody wants. They obsess over the man who makes them think, I better hold on tight before someone else does. Conclusion. At the end of the day, men need to understand one thing clearly. Women don't become obsessed with men who put them first. They become obsessed with men who put themselves first. That's the brutal truth. Every point we've covered in this video, silence, walking away, unpredictability, emotional control, scarcity, making her work for attention, disagreeing without fear, pacing your investment, purpose, and even triggering her competitive side comes down to one core principle. She values you only as much as you value yourself. Now here's the controversial statement most people won't like. Women don't actually want equality when it comes to attraction. They want a man they can look up to. They want a man who is stronger, more disciplined, more focused than they are. A man they can respect. That's why the moment you make her the center of your life, you lose her. And that's why the men who stay grounded in their own mission are the ones women obsess over. It may sound unfair. It may sound harsh, but it's reality. Women don't fantasize about men who worship them. They fantasize about men they have to work hard to keep. If you don't like that truth, stay average. But if you embrace it, you'll realize that obsession isn't created by giving her everything. It's created by making her earn the privilege of being in your world. So, here's what I want from you. Drop a comment below and tell me about your experiences. Have you ever noticed a woman become more interested when you pulled back? Or did you lose respect by overinvesting too soon? Share your stories and I'll reach out, respond, and create a connection with you. Because this channel isn't just me talking,